Darwin trying to say that the last state of man is to be a white man. You know, that's all evolution. That the white race is the superior, dominant race, and the blacks they're uncivilized. You know, and all the people that were part of that movement, they were all renowned racists. All of them, they all hated blacks. They all hated Israelites. Jake, the so-called Mexican, all of them. And that's where the birth control league, which later became known as Planned Parenthood, that's where that came from. That was a branch that stemmed from that movement. And that was founded by Margaret Sanger. She said herself that we don't want word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro. She said that on her own mouth.
Because like the new eugenics now is abortion. So now when you look at America, right? So now if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but the highest rate of abortion is done by the Israelites, right? So now you're allowing them to abort their babies up until birth. So that means that you're automatically increasing the amount of infanticide, is what it would be called. You know, the murder of children, basically. So now this is just another tool of Esau to kill more Jakes.
Yeah.
So that's now his modern day eugenics, man.
And they that's right. And they deliberately put the clinics all in the minority neighborhoods. Deliberately, I think it's 75%. They're all built in the minority neighborhoods. So it's all done by design. There's been some type of meeting where they say, listen, this is how we're going to get rid of them. Alright? But let's go back to this all goes to the point where I'm saying, going back to the lyrics. If it was a Jake spitting lyrics about killing Edomites, there would have been a tumult. But as long as they talk about killing themselves, then that's fine.
But you know what that is? Give me Jeremiah 15 and 5. I'm in the spirit, brother. Sometimes I can't help it, man. I'm in the spirit, man. Jeremiah 15 and 5. You got it, brother. You got it.
Jeremiah 15 and 5. For who shall have pity upon thee,
Right.
O Jerusalem?
Right.
Or who shall bemoan thee?
Right.
Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest?
Right.
For thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord Yahweh. Thou art gone backward. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting.
Right. So now, let's ask them that what was that talking about?
No, wasn't listening.
That's right.
Let me read it again.
That verse right there.
Read that again. Read that first part.
Jeremiah 15 and 5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord. Thou art gone backward. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee.
So what's that first part talking about?
Is that the Deuteronomy curses? Is it, or is that the wicked children of Israel that listen to the Lord, isn't it?
Well, read it again.
For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem?
So for who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? What?
Or who shall bemoan thee?
Or who shall bemoan thee? So who's gonna have pity upon you, O Jerusalem? So what's that talking about? It's plain. It's plain.
Huh?
It's obvious. Like who's gonna have pity upon thee? So what's that basically saying?
Slavery?
Yeah, who's gonna have pity upon us?
Yeah.
Because we're Jerusalem.
Yeah.
We're Jerusalem. We represent Jerusalem.
Like post-slavery, we're talking.
Yeah. And that too. Like the current,
basically. Yeah.
now, basically, like the current state that we're in. No one has pity upon us.
Well, you look at, can I just say, when we're going to talk about the plight of the so-called black man, right, and the history of and all the wickedness that's done to us, the first thing these devils are going to say is You know, that was a long time ago. You know, get over it. There's no pity, man. There is no pity. You look at the so-called Jews and whoever else you want to talk about out there.
Right.
There's pity on them.
Right.
But there is no pity. There's no pity on us.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
They distance themselves from
And
it.
when you look at our history, it's worse than everybody else's.
It's what exactly?
You got the transatlantic slave trade. You got,
Exactly.
the Congo, King Leopold done.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
Congo.
exactly. I
You know
didn't
what
even.
I mean? What he done to the natives of the, the tribe of Gad. You know what I'm saying? All them things, and they just wanna, and they still celebrate them things, and that just goes to show you the wickedness as well.
Exactly. So that's the pitilessness of Wagwan. I mean, like I said, our history is worse than any other history. They didn't even make an international apology. Not that we care. But what's an apology gonna do for us? Like,
How comes you always hear a lot of people that ain't in the truth always speaking about repatriations?
reparations.
Reparations.
I mean,
We ain't never getting no reparations, man.
there's no penny.
Ever.
There's no real amount that
Do you know
Esau
what I
can
mean?
ever give to us for all the injury that he's afflicted to us as a people.
That's
Why do you think they want to forget about it so easily?
Yeah.
They're desperate to forget about it.
Well, that's why the shit
Yes.
says.
Because for them to give us the reparation, they have to remember what they've done. They have to bring them back to memory, and that's something that Esau doesn't want to do, because that in a way tarnish his image. You know, so he's ashamed of that, because that lets the world know who he really is. Because he's always, for the most part, for the past years, Esau's tried to paint himself as Superman. No, the good guy, he's here to save humanity. The ladies, man. Alright? Gillette, best a man can get.
So
the second you tell him- the second you show him- The second you show him this,
What's up, brother?
1942.
What about 1942?
My dad was born in 1942.
Oh,
the second you show him all of this, yeah, then Esau, the so-called white man, don't want to hit to see that.
That's the scripture.
That he's the true violent man of the planet. You know what he did to the Mexican? You know what the conquistadors did to the Mexicans, man? The Incans. When the conquistadors came, they were the Incas, the empire of the Inca. And then the Mayans was down there in what's this place, man? Down south more so for Mexico. But you had the empire of the Inca. Man, them conquistadors didn't give a Ross about the Mexican, man. We're slaughtering them by the thousands. Alright? Some of their names like what's this guy's name, man? Forget this man's name. Christopher Columbus. No, not Christopher, not him. But there was other names, man. There was other like Spanish conquerors, man. Like Cortez. There's one guy called Cortez. They were merciless, man. And the paintings they did of him, they showed him as a man with saber-tooth teeth, man, and armor, showing you how much of a devil they were to the Mexicans.
yeah.
One guy, he was so merciless towards the Mexicans that his own people had to arrest him and deport him back to Spain, man, and strip him of his old titles because the amount of dehumanizing he was doing to the Mexicans. Some of them were that merciless that they had to get arrested by their own people.
Yeah, man. That's
So that's goes to the scripture the brother brought out.
Can you read
No
that
one's
again?
got pity upon us.
Can you read that again?
Oh, read that again.
Please. Baba Kashan.
Jeremiah 15:5, it says, "Who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside and ask how thou doest? Thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord. Thou art gone backward. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting."
Yeah, can I interject on that, man? Because I just thought about something when you read that. Read that verse again. I just thought about something just came to my mind.
Jeremiah 15:5.
This is very important.
Who shall have pity upon thee,
Yeah.
O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside and to ask how thou doest?
Okay, go on.
Thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord.
See, that's the point. That's the point. That's why no one gives a shit about Jake. You know why? Because Jake don't give a shit about the Most High.
Right, yeah, right.
So with the Lord, so it's just as simple as that. And this is why all of this stuff was done. Matter of fact, brother, can you get the Apocrypha? What does the Apocrypha? I believe it's in the book of Baruch, right? No, Hosea. Get me Hosea 4 and 6. It's in Hosea. Check this out.
We got that already.
Oh, see, that's a
Yeah,
spirit.
we got that already.
Where are you guys going? They went that way.
What does it say in Hosea 4 and 6?
People are destroyed.
Hosea 4 and 6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Okay, go on.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge,
Right.
I will also reject thee.
Because you rejected knowledge of the Most High. What does it say?
That thou shalt be no priest to me.
No,
See,
read it again, brother.
Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right?
Because thou hast rejected knowledge,
Okay.
I will also reject thee.
So because ye rejected knowledge, the Lord was going to reject his people. So when you read Jeremiah 15 verse 5, let's read it again.
Jeremiah 15 and 5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest?
Right.
Thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord.
So because the children of Israel forsaken the Lord Yahweh, why would the Lord then have the nation show pity to Jacob? You understand what I'm saying? So that's what this is saying. And this is why no one gives a shit about Jacob. Because the Lord was dealing with Jacob by using the prophets at all times.
Yeah.
Taking them out from the, taking them out into the wilderness, taking care of them. Okay, and they still was popping shit.
Yeah.
They still was,
Yeah.
deviating from the right way.
Yeah.
Worshiping gods under the groves and the trees. So the Lord said, you know what? What I'm gonna do is this, I'm not gonna recognize you. I don't care if the nations jack you up or whatever. I'm gonna just let you be because you wanna come up against me. Because it tells you that in Deuteronomy, I believe it's 17. I could be wrong on that, but it says something to the effect of if you go contrary to me, I will go contrary to you. So everything is all based on the precepts. Everything that's happening on this earth is all based on what's in the scriptures. Okay, we have finished Jeremiah 15, the 15th chapter. There's another point in there too.
Where I stopped.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Read on. Yeah.
So verse 6. For thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord.
Yeah.
Thou art gone backward. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against thee.
So how would the Lord stretch out his hand against him? How would he do that? By using the nations to go up against Israel. The way that exactly what happened. Pound the camera on that, brother.
Huh?
Pound the camera on that. All of that happened. That was the hand of the Lord rising up against his people. By using those nations to do just that. So the point of the matter is that we have to look at things from a broader perspective. We have to look at things from a more of a scriptural perspective. We can't get emotional about what's going on, about how Esau's the devil and keep talking about Esau all day, because we got other things to talk about. We got to deal with the scriptures. Okay? And that's how it goes on. Everything's happening according to scripture. So I want you to read, keep going.
It says, thou hast forsaken me. Let me call it. Jeremiah 15 and 6. Thou hast forsaken
another
me.
thing too, how is the children of Israel forsaken the Lord? By forsaking the prophets. When you go into the Old Testament and it speaks about how Rebecca inquired of the Lord, what did that mean? That meant that Rebecca inquired of a prophet. So when you forsake the prophets that the Lord set up, then you're disregarding the knowledge of the Most High. Because we're the ambassadors or the representatives of Yahweh Basham Yahushua. Go on, brother.
Jeremiah 15 and 6. Thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord. Thou art gone backward. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee.
And destroy thee. That's what happened. We can destroy it. It tells you that in Deuteronomy 28. It says, I will set up the nations against thee above thee very high, and ye shall be on the oppressed evermore until thou be destroyed. prophecy. Go on.
I am weary with repenting, and I will fan them with a fan in the gates of the land.
Yeah.
I will bereave them of children. I will destroy my people, since they return not from
That's
their
what
ways.
the Lord said. He said, I will destroy my people. So,
God destroyed us because we rejected Him.
right, and that's why all of that stuff went down. That all went down because you rejected it. So when Israel rejected the Most High, and the Lord says, you know what? I'm going to raise up against you. And the way that the Lord did that by sending the nations against us. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, like it tells you in the Old Testament, it says a man is in Ecclesiastes. It says something to the effect of a man that's of great understanding. A man that's of great understanding is slow to anger. Why? Because you understand. The more you understand, the less angry you become. Because you see the full spectrum, you see the full picture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's when you don't understand, the lack of understanding that you have, the more you're going to respond to a lot of things.
Yeah,
You're going to become more responsive.
Yeah, it's like when the wicked scribes and the wicked Pharisees came to arrest Yahweh Shai. What was the first thing that Peter did? He got angry and emotional, and he went straight for the sword, man. Yeah. And then Yahweh Shai, who knew better, pulled Peter to the side. Listen, he that lived by the sword shall what? Die by it. Because Peter was still a disciple. He was still being disciplined. He wasn't yet an apostle.
Right.
Yahweh Shai was his teacher, his disciplinary. So that's when Yahweh Shai had to bring in the spiritual and say, listen, it's my time, man. I have to go through this.
Because ultimately, like it tells you in Matthew, it says something to the effect of, it's in Luke, it says something to the effect of being a lost disciple. Now, when we look up the word disciple means what? I'm gonna let you guess it. I'm gonna let any of y'all brothers guess it. What does the word disciple?
Follower, man. It's a follower of Yahweh Shai.
No, but I'm looking for more.
That disciple.
Yeah,
Well,
what
he's
does it mean?
disciplined.
Exactly, that's what it means. So when you're in this truth, you're supposed to elevate your state of mind, and you're supposed to act based on. You're supposed to do things that are reasonable. And when you put in a certain amount of years in this truth, it's reasonable for you not to really look at things from an emotional perspective. Now, when you came into the truth, it's reasonable. That's the first stage. The first stage is you get mad, you get angry, you want to throw a tantrum, and you want to beat people up and all of that. That's the phase you go through when you first come in, depending on the brother.
Not quick to draw the sword.
Yeah, but when you still got that quick to draw the sword spirit, I'm gonna take you over. That's not that means you never grown. You're supposed to discipline yourself. It's about discipline.
And I say one thing, look, also because when you get into the scriptures and you know what Esau's done, yeah, you get angry and stuff, but then the Lord balances it because he also tells you that Esau's going to get what he deserves, man.
Yeah.
So, and that's right. What the brother just said, it's the patience of the saints, man. So we have to
Right.
that we're going to get through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, we're going to get our recompense, man.
Because what does it mean to be patient? It means to suffer. So if you're getting emotional and you're getting all not Antoine, but you're getting all out of it, because you're not going to do nothing about it. You only get emotional or angry because you're going to do something about it, but you can't do nothing about it. It's all in the hands of the Lord. So all of that, you getting emotional, you getting angry, that's just a waste of energy. You're bugging yourself out too. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to wind up doing things that can lead you out the truth. So it's just best to just look at things from a spiritual perspective anyway. Like it tells you in the scriptures, it says walk in the spirit. And the one way that you walk in the spirit is by hearkening unto the Holy Spirit, which is the word.
Let's go back to that team. After the
Psalm 78. I might as well start it. Psalm 78 and 2. It says, I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us.
Right.
We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of the Lord, and his strength, and his wonderful works that he hath done.
Read that part again.
We will not hide them from their children.
We will not hide them from their children, man.
Showing to the generation to come
showing the generation to come,
the praises of the Lord and his strength,
showing the praises of the Lord and his strength.
Exactly.
and his wonderful works that he hath done.
And the wonderful works which he have done. Remember how the Most High brought all the plagues of ancient Egypt. And the eclipse went out in ancient Egypt. The eclipse, that's an ancient thing though. The Most High made it happen over 3,500 years ago. The Most High brought locusts on the Egyptian. The Most High made it with a Nile and went red, man. Blood. Red.
Pestilence.
Most High kill off the cattle and the firstborn of all the Egyptian then. Every household. The firstborn, that's so there's like a curse attached to us as a people. Whatever people we go in among them, that for them laying their hand on us, that's a curse on them for laying hands on us. Alright? So these are the wonderful things that the Most High has done that we should teach to our children. Go ahead.
Verse 5, it says, for he established a testimony in Jacob.
Established a testimony in who? Jacob. Alright? Go ahead.
And appointed a law in Israel.
And appointed a law in Israel. So we were a lawful people. You see what I'm saying? Now that little girl that you said that when the man asks, oh, what positive things you have to say about herself? she should have been saying, well, I'm an Israelite. I'm a daughter of the Most High. Right? My people are chosen. I'm a Jew. I'm the tribe of Judah.
We are a special people.
You know, you can imagine her saying something like that. Oh, my daddy told me that I'm Judah.
The Lord is our power.
And Yahweh is my God. And Yahweh Shai is my Messiah.
Yeah.
And my daddy told me that my hair is beautiful.
Yeah.
And that I'm gonna be a princess in the kingdom. That's what she should have said, man.
Can I just say,
And then they will shop all them Edomites there. Get me?
because the Most High made sure that he told us, when I come into this truth, he made sure that he got, through the brothers, that message over to us when we come out of the world. That the Most High made it clear in Deuteronomy 19:5, and I remember hearing it over and over again. We are a special people, so that's what a mother, a father should do to their children.
Right.
You're special.
Supposed to teach
Yeah.
their children then.
But they're not going to do it because they don't have the knowledge. If you got the knowledge, then you're going to teach automatically. That's what you're going to do. That's automatic.
Right.
If you know that you're an Israelite, if I know that I'm an Israelite, I'm going to tell my son, look, son, you of the tribe of Judah, you know, and you're going to get this, whatever comes in the scriptures.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Because the Edomite children, so like the Edomite children, they it's in them that they're special, even though they're not even special,
not special.
compared to the human race.
Yeah, but their parents lie to them.
Individually.
Yeah.
Parents lie to them.
So it's embedded in them that they feel special, even though they're not. That shows the power of words.
Yeah.
Even though they're not special.
That's right. So what was you gonna say?
But I also think a lot of Jakes out there, they think they're better than these other nations, but they don't know why. That's what I'm saying. You see Jakes when they like flossing, and they talk the game and all that. They know that they're better than Esau and that. They don't know why they're better. They don't know why, man.
Swagger, you know.
They can see it. They can see it on the sports field, things like that in the entertainment industry. Vocally, they can see all that, and they know that. We've invented things. They know that, but they can't. It's hard.
But they can't put their finger on it.
Prove it as well. He's destroying all the proof. Say, we did this, we did that. So when you look at the history books, it's all Esau in there. Esau's done everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they know it's like it's in their spirit, but they can't really can't say it.
It's a bad vibration.
Right? And it's right, man. Because what Esau tried to do is he took all the physical attributes that we have, our masculinity, how fast we are, how good we are in athletics, and he tried to make it into a bad thing. like we're just animals and all we're good for is entertainment. Alright? You know, look at our oversized lips and our oversized hips. Alright? Like what they did to Sarah Bachman. They, you know, after she died, they cut her up, man, and they put her body parts in exhibition, man. They cut her up and they read about Sarah Bachman. That's where you get this Tottenham's Venus or something like that. Type in Sarah Bachman and the story on her, man, and what they did to her. Then I think it's a guy from France or England.
He was in France.
France, right? He went down to Africa, South Africa, and he saw a very voluptuous woman, and he enticed her. He said, listen, if you come over to England, or from France, I'll give you money, you live a good life. So what did she do? She went to it. Went there, man, they pretty much, they captivated her, man. They put her in a cell, and they paraded her, man. They turned her into some exhibition, like people come to see her. You know, people come like she's in a zoo type of thing.
That's why them crackers started dressing up in them. The crack women started dressing up in them skirts, man. With the thing, you know what I mean? When they had that like the cage underneath the skirt, just make them look like they got big bottoms.
Yeah. Yeah, where do you think all that came about?
Where that come
when the white women wear the dresses to make them look, the buttocks come out like that shape, come from us.
It went from 2D to 3D, yeah?
But that's what they did to Sarah Bachman. They paraded her, man. She was like a circus freak because of her body shape. She had many lovers. She had many guys having sex with her. Basically prostitute. And after when she died, they cut her up and they put her hips, her body parts on galleries, man, to basically make a mockery. All right. But going back to the point, we're a special people. Now we know that we're better than them, like as the brother said, but there's no explanation as to why.
Can't verbalize it.
Why.
Intellectually, we can't verbalize it. We may do it in sports and show it in sports, and for the Edomite to give us a round of applause and all that, but we can't verbalize it internally.
You don't understand why, right? Go on, read on.
Right. Psalm 78, and I'll start at 5 again. It says, "For he established a testimony in Jacob,
right,
and appointed a law in Israel,
which
he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children."
Commanded our fathers that we should make them known unto our children.
It says that the generation to come might know them, even the children who should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children.
Right, so that the generation after would know them, and they would teach the generation of their children. All right. So it's like an intergenerational thing.
Says
and that's why it says, Scripture says, "He that teacheth his son grieves the enemy."
Right.
You grieveth the enemy when you teach your son. All right. Because when you die, your son takes over. And he's going to carry on your legacy. And that's going to grieve your enemy.
Yeah.
And Esau understood that. That's why he had to wipe out the generation of us that knew that they were Hebrews.
And it's not just Jake too, it's just pretty much everybody. Because that's why you got these school systems as well. The reason why you have these school systems, I think it goes back to pressure. So that they can use these schools and condition the minds of the people to think in a way that the government wants them to think.
Right.
And this is why when you go to school, or it's mandated for you to go to school, let me say that, for a child to go to school, and if you don't go to school, then they can arrest you. Because it's all government. The government wants to reprogram your children.
They want control.
Because it's not even just Jake, on how they want Jake to feel, whatever. It's more likely everybody.
Right.
You know, because everybody outside of the elite structure is nothing but serfs and slaves. That's how they see the regular peon. Okay, so you're just there on the side. You're just there to be programmed for one to be a servant. Because if you notice, when you go to the school systems, they don't teach people. And I say people because most people, every nationality goes to the schools. right? They don't teach you how to be independent or set up your own business. They don't teach you that. They just teach you, look, if you do this, you get good grades, and then you go to university, and that university leads you to get a good job. But they don't teach you about economics. They only teach economics when it concerns the prominent families. Now, the prominent families, they get told the real knowledge on how to deal with society. But if you're in the middle class or lower class sector, you're only gonna get taught bullshit. And this is why the majority of the people, they subscribe to bullshit because that's what they were taught in school. And the parents, what can the parents teach the kids? Because they went to the same schools.
Exactly. So what I was reading there, that's the school system. You're teaching your children so their generation can teach their children. That's the school system. That should be the school system. All right? That we should never have given Esau responsibility to educate our children. That should have been our responsibility to educate our own children. How are you going to give your responsibilities over to the hands of men of other nations to take care of your own children? Especially if they hate you.
But that's why
What do you think they're going to teach your children if they hate you?
But that's why you got to go back to the scriptures again. Let me do Deuteronomy chapter 28. Verse let me the scripture where it says, for the one of all things you shall get it unto your enemies. You shall serve your enemies for the one of all things. 28 verse 40.
I could just say as well, because J.D. Rockefeller once said that he doesn't want a nation of thinkers, he wants a nation of workers.
Exactly.
And he's not even a governmental figure, he's just an elitist rich man.
Exactly. Who is he? A Rockefeller, right?
Rockefeller, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a part of the Rothschild family. That's just the American version of the Rothschilds. Yeah, read that, brother.
Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Was that 48? Was it 48?
Yeah, 48.